Hi, everybody. Thanks for tuning into the first podcast episode of McNiel's Unfiltered Perspective. And today, what's currently on my mind is basically the whole state of our government. The government claims to think that they know what's best for us, and I find that hard to truthfully believe. And why is that? During the California wildfires, the California state government, and they not once ever thought about forgiving all of the loans to people during the wildfires. The people down on the East Coast, whenever it's tornado season, the banks themselves they require the people that are still paying down those loans to pay them off, regardless if there's no property left. And what does the government do? Not a thing at all. They don't forgive the debt of the people, whether or not a natural disaster has occurred to where they are left with no properties whatsoever left. During the height of the pandemic, there was actually people out there that were basically snitches, Karens, to the point where they're like, oh, remember, keep your social distancing 6 feet plus away. You can't have too many people down at wherever it is. Gotta social distance. Gotta mask up. The government, they basically pulled people apart. They arrested people. They kept people from their loved ones during the height of the pandemic. And they claimed it's doing what's best for us. If the government truly wants to do what's best for us and wants to know what really is best for us, how about ending property taxes nationwide from both federal and state level? Because across the country, millions of people, or should I say billions, they are homeowners and they're still paying off their homes. But yet, the home isn't really their own once the payment's already been fully made, meaning no more house payment. Because if you fail to pay taxes, especially property taxes, what will the government do? The government will step in, intervene, and say, oh no, this isn't your home anymore. You owe X amount of dollars on property taxes that you have failed to support. And if you're not going to pay us, we're going to take the home. We're going to take pretty much everything that you have. We're going to garnish your wages. We're even going to throw you in jail if you fail to pay us. If you fail to pay the IRS. And plus other court fees too. If you are on child support or owe it, oh yeah, your kids' money, especially if a spouse or a parent has lost their job. A failure to pay will result in them being imprisoned. Oh yeah, that's totally a government that actually cares for us. Bravo. And oh, wait a minute. If a government truthfully does care for us, then they should basically do what's really best for us, and that is to ban cigarettes, to ban tobacco, ban alcohol, ban any type of addictive substance. But oh, wait, they already have. During the Prohibition era, they banned alcohol from ever being sold and consumed, and for even being used for non consume purposes. And basically, what I'm getting at is during the Prohibition era, alcohol was banned, but people are still finding ways to drink it. It was being smuggled. There's even people out there that made their own moonshine and alcohol. In today's times, they still make hooch. They still make the good stuff. Because in this country, there's at least a handful of states that I could think of. One of them being Tennessee. And we all know what alcohol made Tennessee famous, other than being the country music state. What I'm thinking of is whiskey, specifically Tennessee whiskey, the Jack Daniels. The Jack Daniels blend of whiskey, believe it or not, is actually brewed and distributed in a dry county in Tennessee, for those that are unaware. So if the government claims to know what's best for us, what really is best for us? Because the main reason why I don't trust the government in this case, relying too much on the government is a bad thing. Open up a history textbook. It's not left, it's not right, it's not red, it's not blue, it's black and white. Historically speaking, when people relied too heavily on the government, what happened? We ended up getting National Socialism in Germany during almost the mid 1950, almost the mid 1900s. But National Socialism in Germany from 1933 until the end of the World War II in 1945 with the fall of Adolf Hitler. At the same time, they thought they knew the government and what was best for them. The people were so proud. They wanted Germany to continue upholding what they thought was best. But surprise, surprise, that empire has fallen. And I'm not only saying that because I have German ancestry. Look at the Kingdom of Scotland. The people relied on the Kingdom of Scotland until it fell. And what currently is now of Scotland? It is a member of the United Kingdom under the crown of the king. And prior to the king, it was the queen. And even a part of Ireland is under the crown. When we look towards governmental overreach, and why I don't trust the government, in socialist countries, for example, like Venezuela, Communist China, Cuba, North Korea, Laos, Vietnam, many other countries that I'm thinking of, and a lot of them, they basically show the people that are suffering. And what they do not show is people being executed, people being imprisoned for what they believe. But basically, all we're shown on the media scale is happy people. We are never really shown the true state of said country and of the people. We can Google right now as we speak pictures of North Korea, and what are we going to be seeing? A picture or tons of photos of happy North Koreans. What are we not going to see within that same result? We're not going to be seeing some sad, depressed, and starving North Koreans. What are we going to look at when we view China? We're going to see a mix of both, but we are hardly ever going to be seeing any solid evidence. When we look towards, I don't know, let's say Cuba. The Cubans, their government is nothing but socialist. And the people there, they rely on the government for everything that they have. You can't even get new cars exported from the United States and other countries to Cuba. Cuba continues to rely on old automobiles. They even try to rely on automobiles from their own country. A socialist country. Eventually, the socialist country is going to run out of money. And what happens when the country runs out of money? Bad things start happening. Because if the people run out of money, and if the government runs out of money, then you're in a very bad situation. Ronald Reagan, during his time in office, He basically stated that basically the most dangerous words to hear in the English language are, quote, I am from the government and I'm here to help you, unquote. Yeah, the government thinks that they know how to help us, but they don't. The government thinks they know what's best for us, but they don't. What all they know is best is keeping the vote, keeping power, aligning their paychecks. If they really want to know, if we really want someone that actually does represent us, pretty much working class America, we actually have to elect someone that does not come from money. We have to elect someone that we see walking down the street, someone that we could find at a bar, someone that we could find at a restaurant, someone that we could even find selling automobiles for a living. But no, we're not going to be seeing Jane Doe elected to office all because she struggled to pay her bills, all because she sold shoes for a living, all because she was a cosmopolitan. None of that. We'd rather have people in office that come from money, that are billionaires, maybe even trillionaires. We'd rather have people that get elected to office and their background comes from a higher income household or family. And speaking of government doing what's best for us, for those that are unaware, the Social Security Administration, they will lie their tuchus off hardcore because that's what bureaucrats do. And what are bureaucrats good at doing? Lying. If you are the best liar in the world, I actually recommend you join a government job like the Social Security Administration because that is where they will lie their butts off to you. They will tell you as you're planning on getting married if you're on a fixed income. They will tell you, oh, sorry, Ms. Smith. It's great to know that you're going to be getting married. You can keep your income. No. They will actually just say, I'm sorry. Sorry, Jane. Just because you got money, I'm. Just because you got married and have your government issued money on your fixed income, we're going to have to take it away now. Sorry. The government doesn't care if they break up marriages. They don't care if they go against the religious beliefs of the people. They don't care. Do you know how hard it is for someone to get on such money, such assistance, whether it be RSDI, SSI, SSDI, or any other form of income, especially when you're disabled or want to retire? It is paperwork nightmare to the point where you yourself are like, why is there so much paperwork? Is to help prevent fraud and find those that are wanting to abuse the system. Is they're basically doing that just to find it. They're not really having those forms out for anyone just to fill out to get on it. They're wanting to see who they can vet through the ringer, who they can basically investigate more thoroughly than anything. In this case, though, I don't mind if people are to basically tell Uncle Sam, "Hey, screw you. I'm going to be start saving my money underneath the table," meaning putting it in lock boxes, putting it in jars, stuff like that, to the point where they keep it out of the bank. And would you like to know why? Because of what Uncle Sam won't know, it won't hurt the person. But as long as if a check is deposited into a bank, there's always a paper trail, especially with checks, money orders. There's always a paper trail being deposited and taken from accounts. So that way, Uncle Sam, he definitely knows what's going on out there. He expects his pay of the cut, which means that if you're disabled and you're marrying your potential spouse and your spouse has a job regardless of how much they make, the government, they're going to be as heartless as they can because they don't care. They don't care. All they see is what's best for the money. They don't care about you. They don't care about your daughter. They don't care about your son. They don't give a crap who you are. If you're not one of them, they really don't care. Which is why I don't trust the government. And why I don't trust the government? Too much overregulation. Too much anything. Just like within the past few months, I actually discovered footage of former Minnesota governor and former WWE superstar Jesse Ventura. He actually made a solid point with the United States government has all this money. Why are we sending trillions of dollars overseas to wars, to fund wars that we have no involvement in being with, when we should be spending that money on the taxpayers? That is actually a very solid question. Why are we having our government fund all this money towards wars that we have no business being in? Starting trouble with countries we have no business being involved with. If we truthfully wanted America First agenda, it has to start at home, keeping all the taxes here in the United States. And the one thing that does kind of make me chuckle is knowing there are states out there that actually say from the governor themselves that this state is fantastic to start a business in. It's the easiest, I promise you. But the one thing is, that's just a bold ass lie. And I'll tell you why. In the state of Minnesota, for example, if you want to start a junk removal company, good luck. Because I'll tell you why. Because you are going to need insurance. But not just any insurance. You have to get a auto commercial insurance. And what I was quoted was damn near $600 up front. Other states don't require that. In this state, in order to become a junk removal specialist, you have to get hauler tabs at the local dump. You have to get tabs just in order to do that, and they are annual tabs. You have to renew them. If you don't renew them, well, you can't bring any more trash from the customers to the dump. You can't even say it's your trash because they're going to be knowing specifically if you're a frequent customer to the dump. At the same time, one of the more smarter options I thought of is keeping a list, mostly for liability reasons, of keeping the client's information, their address, phone number, names, screenshots of what was sent to you, including basically of what all is being taken, so that way they just can't come back and say, John Smith stole from me, put it on his vehicle, and said he was taking it to the dump. But no, with the EPA regulations and the governmental overreach, they're requiring all that sensitive data to be handed over to the government. And what will the government do with it? Your guess is as good as mine. Truthfully, it is. They would end up pretty much doing an audit on the person running the business. They would have an audit on possibly the person that they had trash removed from, or their junk removed from, or many other things that are out there. At the same time, if you were to have a trailer or a bed of a pickup with junk in it, and if you take it to the dump, guess what? You're going to get fined a fee if you don't have a tarp or anything covering it in a secured manner. Government overreach. Oh, you want to start in one of those mobile automotive detailing type of businesses? Sorry, you have to go by city and state, especially the federal laws too. You have to basically take part in making sure that, well, you have to follow the EPA guidelines by saying or showing that the runoff water isn't going in storm drains. Why? Because they say it will go towards streams and rivers, which I have a hard time believing. If you want to be a detailer, you have to do this, this, and this, and this. If you want to operate a business, you have to submit everything. I'm surprised that you don't have to flash your ID just to pay a simple bill when walking into your insurance company, when making a payment for rent, for making a phone payment. The days where basically the government comes in and says, sorry, if you want to use this video game console, you're going to have to do it pretty much by, or even operate this computer. You're going to have to show an ID and upload it to basically the whole mainframe to where essentially hackers and anybody can get access to your ID and start doxing you. That is very much terrible. But with this, I certainly can align more with some of the reasonings provided by libertarians. Because in theory, they do have good ideas. Because the government can be abusive, as shown in history. The government is also corrupt. Another reason why I don't trust the government, too, is the whole Israel Epstein list thing. They're busy fighting wars with Israel instead of letting Israel deal with their own battles. When it comes to Epstein and the whole list, oh, they claim they want the list to come out. But guess what? It ain't gonna happen. It ain't gonna happen. And why? Because even if the list does come out, they're gonna be redacting a lot of names. And I mean a lot of names. And why? Because the people that are in power are on that list. It could even be the CEO of Walmart, the CEO of Walmart, PlayStation, Amazon, eBay, Coca Cola, PepsiCo, even for any gasoline companies that are out there. Because granted, their names are probably on the list, but we're never going to really know. Even our favorite musicians could be on that list. Our favorite comedians could be on that list. Because anybody that's on the Epstein list is essentially a predator, a pedophile that basically we do not want around children. I may not have kids, but I'll still protect children. Because children are the future of our country. Children, they still got lives to live. I like kids and all. But when they're quiet for too long, that's when you know that there's trouble. But yes, with this whole government overreach, it is too unbelievable at its source. In order just to get married in this country, you have to jump through a whole bunch of hoops just to get married. Oh, and if you want to get divorced, oh, that's where the real money's at when dealing with the government for a divorce. because you have all these court papers, court fees. The point it's it's just easier to go out and purchase an automobile than it is to get married and divorced. There's less paperwork involved with signing a lease to an apartment and then making rent than it is to get married and divorce. Because the government wants to be all up in your business. Currently, right now, in the United Kingdom and the European Union, UK, and the EU, did you know that for the past couple of months now, your their smartphones, computers, tablets, TVs, and video game systems require you to flash an ID by uploading it to their system, so that way it's all in the name of protecting children when it's not really protecting children. It's more or less of the government doxing you, the government choosing what to do with your information to determine what's right and wrong. And with the rise of AI, the only governmental overreach that some people would say that's overreach, but what the government actually has done is good. In the state of Minnesota, currently I believe it's being upheld in the courts by the AI companies. But in the state of Minnesota, effective August 1st this year, 2026, AI notification is against the law, and making any form of nude AI for anybody, especially without their consent, is instant jail time and faces charges. That I can actually understand and rock with. Because do you know how many deep fakes actually do exist out there of everybody? You may not have even taken a picture of yourself, and there's already a deep fake out there. The only deep fake of me I actually ever want shown is a picture of me skinny. Because I may be a big person and all, but I actually want to know what I genuinely look like if I was actually thin. But, yeah. With basically everything going on in this world, especially government wise, I have a hard time trusting government leaders. I really do. The only government leaders I actually do have more trust in and more faith in is on the local level. But I'm going to be more specific. Local as in city slash town, county. That's basically it. Meaning, for example, I'll trust the government of. I'd rather trust the Virginia, Minnesota government. I'd rather trust the St. Louis County, Minnesota government. I even trust city councilors more than I trust our own senators and congresspersons. I'd rather trust police officers than trust a governor. I'd rather trust postal workers than I would rather trust the president. There's many other things out there. And technically, the USPS is a federalized organization. However, it's more or less on the states, even though it is a national organization, so to speak. And that is why we need to be focusing our time and energy. I'm not stressing out exactly what we want our government leaders to be in charge of, but of what they want to do for us. Not against us, but for us. Because politicians, they are for the party. They are not for the people. And when they claim that they're for the people, that's when I have a hard time trying to believe. Especially if they have big government, uh, a big government mentality. Because if they have more faith in government than God, that's a problem. Because yes, our government officials, they are put in place of God and pretty much appointed by God. However, we are to pretty much obey and trust our government to an extent. because we are actually called not trying to start a rebellion or a revolt, but I'm just wanting to make this crystal clear that basically we do have a God-given right to believe of what our government's doing is best for us instead of blindly following what the government does. Just like you can be a Democrat and against the socialist agenda. You can be a Republican and against the extreme agenda behind it. You don't have to always rock with everything that the mainstream party is saying, not even with the minority of the party. Because historically proven, the only thing that Democrats, Republicans, and third parties like the Libertarian Party have all in common is one core theme: individual liberties and rights. That's essentially what they have in common with each other, with the Libertarians, Republicans, and Democrats. The main thing that they have in common is rights and equality. But other than that, it's more a big government than anything. But the Libertarians, more of limited government involvement to small government involvement and interference. But yeah, I don't trust the government, and I sure as hell don't trust anybody that places any authoritarian like voice unless it is detrimental to national security or detrimental to life or death. And I've been going on for about 33 minutes and 20 seconds now. The next podcast episode, it will be on Friday at 3 o'clock. So, stay tuned for then. This is McNiel's Unfiltered Perspective, signing off. Thank you for tuning in.